Okay, looks like OBS and YouTube are actually cooperating today. Malachi Allen, coming out of the woodwork, man. How are you today? We're just setting up a couple of things on the streaming end. We'll be ready to go in a minute. But just prefacing the stream today, we are going to test out the final of the 4 aircraft. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. Thanks for asking, and happy Thursday. Friday's tomorrow, and the weekend is coming. First weekend in August. Hope everything is good where you are. How's everything down in the Carib? We are, as I was saying, we are doing our last normal test flight, I would say. I'm going to do more test flights of the 4 variants from Level Up. So this is the last of the 4. We did the 900, the 800, and the 700 in the last 3 days. And so today's the 600. And after today's flight, I'm going to do, I think I'm going to stream some go-arounds, missed approaches. Eventually landing, of course, to close out the stream. And yeah, we'll do missed approaches on the 4 variants, and then I'm going to do testing on what we call hot and, or what they call in the aviation world, hot and high performance. So that's, you know, airports or airfields generally above 5,000 feet, 5,000 feet above sea level, and very hot conditions. So you've got thinner air and very hot local weather at those airports makes the air even less dense. So we have these relativistic density altitudes where aircraft performance is impacted pretty significantly. So we're going to jump into this one. This is a super short flight. You can see from the overlay that the estimated time en route is only 30 minutes. So we're actually going to not just plan the departure, but we're going to plan the arrival while we're here on the ground as well. We're only going to be going up to flight level 240, I believe. Yes. So we're already at a little over 5,000, I think, or right around 5,000 feet in Vegas here. And so we only have 19,000 feet to climb. And Tonopah is similarly of a similar altitude as well. We'll be taking runway 19 right for the departure based off of the current weather in Vegas. And winds are light in Tonopah. That's actually how you pronounce it. And coming out of the northwest, so we'll be taking the runway 32 approach, perhaps the ILS. Might actually even do an RNP or an RNAV into runway 32, just to see how the aircraft behaves on the autopilot on that approach. So actually winds have look like they've gone down to pretty much calm here in Vegas, but 19 right is ideal for our current position in the airfield. Air distance is only 147 miles. We'll probably burn up, I would say, about 40 miles of that in the climb, maybe 50. And we're not going to be spending too much time at our cruising altitude before having to descend again. Like we said, wheels up, wheels down, 30 minutes. Route is pretty simple. We're taking the Lola 3 to Jason, and then direct to the exit waypoint. And then it's really probably just RNAV Zulu after that, if there is such one. We'll take a look at the charts when we get in the cockpit. And speaking of cockpit, let's jump into that right now. Okay, so we're here cold and dark. I spent a little bit of time yesterday. Oh, by the way, this airplane has the, it's got the eyebrows. So it's got these little windows above the main cockpit windows. They call them the eyebrows. So that's quite cute. Not quite sure why they had those in the first place. Generally don't see them anymore. As a matter of fact, the Dash 600 is one of only about 12 airplanes, somewhere between 7 and 12 airplanes, the Dash 600's left in service right now. But it's really got the same cockpit. It is a glass cockpit. I checked it out online, the real thing, and yeah, I mean, it looks really, for all intents and purposes, identical to the 7, the 8, and the 900 cockpit. So, get things moving here. Actually, we'll go get our school bag together first. Change it up a little bit. Get AviTab open. Move this microphone. I've been working on microphone positions. Just stand by 1 second. My broker is calling me. Pardon the interruption. As we were doing, we were getting our charts here. Harry Reid International. We'll need the airport chart. So we're on the west side of the field at the military installation. Can't really talk about this flight, you know, it's kind of top secret. So, but we'll be exiting our current position, getting onto hotel, and taking it up to Foxtrot 1 for the 19 right departure. We don't have any air traffic control covering our position, so we did get the squawk code from VATSIM 4620. And our departure is the Lola 3. That is expiring at Jason. And it's essentially more or less runway heading, and then a right turn to 271 degrees to Leland below 8,000, then on to Penske or Pensk, and then Lola 13,400 or above, and then on to Jason. No arrival for the destination field, but there is a, excuse me, approach. Okay, so it's good. We do have an RNAV approach for runway 32, so I'd like to take a look at that. Touchdown zone elevation is 5,550 feet. I think is quite similar to Vegas. What are we at here? Actually, we're quite a lot lower. I thought Vegas was higher. Actually, that's right. Vegas is not that high. It's actually in kind of a little bit of a valley, an elevated valley almost. Valley flats. So really, this is not a LPV. This is an LNAV approach. Minimum's 430 feet radio altitude. Runway visual range is basically 500 feet. We're classified 3. Charlie, excuse me. Wake class Charlie. So visual range 3/4 of a mile. And we'll be doing a straight in landing and no circle to land. Okay, so that's fine. Let's see if there's an airport chart here. Runway 33. That's very interesting, isn't it? So we have a runway 32 RNAV, but when you go to the airport chart of the same airport, the runway is labeled as 33. Okay. Probably just stop and park at the Delta ramp. Okay, so as we can see, not that many charts. Just looking at the approach again. So GYRAM is the initial fix. Minimum 8,700 feet. So we got the school bag together. Let's get the overhead rocking. Battery on and protected. Battery volts 24. That's fine. And we're not going to use a ground power unit. We're going to go straight to the APU. So we'll put we'll put the forward right fuel pump on. It looks okay there. Don't need any lights. Emergency exit lights will go to armed and protected. Fasten seatbelt signs on. We only have 3 passengers in this flight today. We don't know their names. Their real names. They have aliases. They're using aliases, so anti-ice is off. Hydraulic pumps, electric pumps are off. The engine pumps are on, but I don't even know why would they be on at default. We'll put them off. Put the packs to auto. Open the isolation valve. And navigation lights will go on. And that's good enough for the overhead for the time being. We're going to go down here to the center console and do our engine and APU fire tests. Right, let's start up this APU then. EGT is on the rise. Oh, the AirX cycle is onto the next cycle, and I never downloaded it. Oh boy. Alright, we're just gonna have to go with the old one. It'll be okay. Unless we get ATC coverage, then things could get a little different. It expired on the 5th. I'm gonna wait for these volts and frequency zeros to change. Then we know the APU generator is actually giving us juice, or will be able to give us good juice. There we go, about 400 hertz and nearly 115 volts, so that's reliable. Don't accept that. And IRS is to nav position, and we'll do our position in work here. Las Vegas north 36.5, west 115.9. 136.5, 115.9, so that's good. We'll take the GPS, put it in there. Okay, the IRSs have reference now. And our route. Route's already done in SimBrief, so runway 19er. We are Janet 53, hold sign. Go ahead and activate that and execute. Put our navigation display screen to plan mode. Looking at the departure again. Runway 19 right is climb on heading 194 to intercept the 271 course direct to Leland at or below 8,000. Then on course 336 to Pensk. Then on track 282 to cross Lola at or above 13,400. And our top altitude is 14,000. I'm going to put that into mode control panel. IRS alignment is 5 minutes. Go get the airside services work happening. Load the OFP. Just cross-reference those figures with the flight plan. 3 passengers, 0 fuel weight, 37.6. This is giving it to me in kilograms. Alright, so we'll approximately do the calculation here on my phone. So that's 82.7 thousand pounds. And that's close enough, 82.8, and fuel is 4.2 multiplied by 2.2 is about 9.3. That's okay. Go and activate that. Okay, so airside services are active. Our landing altitude, finishing the overhead. Touchdown zone elevation is 5550 feet. And it's hot there too, so we will have hot and high conditions landing in Tonopah. Okay, back to the FMS departure. Lola 3. Jason transition. Runway 19 right. Execute that. And for the approach, we're going to do the RNAV. Runway 32. We could take it from Jesvo, that's fine. That's the initial approach fix, and then Gyrem will be the initial fix. Draco is final fix at 7,600, so that's 2,100, actually 2,050 feet above touchdown zone elevation. We need to be fully configured, of course, naturally. So Jesvo is good. We'll accept that, execute. And go to the legs page now, and step through the points. Leland 8,000 or below is accurate. Pensk okay. Lola 13,400 or above is good. Jason to exit, and then we're going to go direct Jesvo. We'll put in the weight figures now. And the RNAV approach, waypoints, and altitude constraints look good and correspond to the chart. So we're happy with that. We can put the navigation display back to the map mode and go to our init ref. Go perfect. Perf page here. So our zero fuel weight is 82.8. Reserves we'll have to pull from the flight plan. Finish reserves plus the alternate is 2.2. But it's actually 2.2 multiplied by 2, so we'll say it's about 5. Cost index is 6. And block fuel is 4.2, so that's 9.2 pounds. So we've got to actually take fuel off of the airplane. You see the ANP here figure is coming down significantly. This means the IRSs have actually aligned. That usually goes down to around 0.1, maybe even a little less sometimes. And we go up here and we can see that the IRS display is actually aligned. So we are presently heading 150. Can do a test on it even if we want to. Winds are being registered as nil. Once the IRSs have aligned, the yaw damper can actually go to on now. And we can even see here from the APU generator that the TR1, TR2, and TR3 power systems are all active, feeding their various instruments that are downstream. Oh, look at the birds are flying overhead. Interesting. So our altitude is cruising altitude 240. I think that's it for the overhead. APU is active. Take the bleeds. The circumflation fan is on. There's no trim air on the dash 6 or the dash 7 because I think there's only one conditioning zone. Cruising altitude 240. Average cruise winds, or average winds generally for the flight, 1503. So really, really light. And top of climb, outside air temperature, -18. So this bird is in Fahrenheit, so -18 is probably going to be about, let's say, -23. Excuse me. It's in the other direction. And when it gets closer to 0, the gap widens, or narrows, excuse me. Okay, everything looks good on the perf in it. We'll go ahead and execute that. And take on the 3 passengers. Refueling is still ongoing, but we're almost there. To the N1 limits, so our gross weight 92.1. I'm using the sim brief takeoff performance. So that's good. Niner. That's all good. The outside air temperature is 36. That's accurate. So we're doing flaps 1, D-rate 2, takeoff, and select temp 58. So select D-rate 2. 58 is the select temp. So we are 82.3% N1 will be the thrust setting.
All right, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
That's so funny. We have 3 passengers on board, and based off of the capacity of the aircraft, that's actually registering as... It's not even registering packs at all. Alright, everyone is strapped in. Go to the payload page. Now our takeoff weight, 20.9. Going flaps 1. 20.9 on the CG. Trim will be 5.2. Which is almost there. It's right around there. X-plane is registering winds at 130 at 5. Interesting. And our V speeds, V1 112, rotate 114, V2 124, so 12, 14, 24. Takeoff weight, gross weight look good. Runway 19 right, almost 9,800 feet, loads of room. Okay, we are ready to get out of here. Nothing on VATSIM, although I do need to set the squawk code 4620, I believe. 4620, yeah. Squawk mode Charlie. And let's get the CTAF for Vegas. 119.9er. We are clear right, clear left. We'll set the target speed to V2 plus 10, so 134. Flight director on. Throttle. LNAV can be armed and VNAV as well. Auto brake to rejected takeoff. Okay, let's start this sucker up. Let's get the fuel pumps on. Hydraulics. Window heat. Pack's off now, because we'll need all that air to get N2 moving. Engine 2 start. Looking for 20% N2 and fuel switch to idle. N1 is rising. We can set the electrical panel to Gen 2 and we'll see these there we go. 400 hertz, 113 volts. That is a good engine. We'll take that. And engine 1 start. Again, looking for about 20% N2. Fuel switch to idle. And Gen 1 generator. Gen 1 generator characteristics are good. We will accept that. Now the APU has been completely dislodged from the electrical bus. We can set the APU off, kill the APU bleed, and put the packs back to auto. Set flaps 1, which are takeoff flaps. Flaps 1 are set. Flight control check, full up. Check. Full down. Check. Neutral is good. Full left. Full right. Rudder full left. Rudder full right. And I'm going to do that again because I got really dodgy rudder pedals. Need to invest in some better equipment down there. Okay, flight control test is done. So we are going to be taking a left onto Hotel and Hotel to Foxtrot 1. Las Vegas traffic, Janet 53, taxiing to 1908 via Hotel and Foxtrot 1, Vegas traffic. Release the park brake. And this bird is rolling on her own here. So I forgot to set the field altimeter to 90909.
Have a good flight.
We are clear on the right and clear on the left. So because we're on such a short flight, 30 minutes wheels up, wheels down, we had to pretty much do our landing briefing at the same time by looking at the RNAV runway 32. As a matter of fact, we can even set those minimums now, which is 5908. Okay, minimums are set. This thing is probably going to do like a vertical takeoff. We've got a very, very light airframe with only 3 passengers. And pretty much the same engines that are on the Dash 900. I'm expecting a lot of force to be applied to pull back on the yoke to get the nose off the ground. Vegas traffic, Janet 53 is departing runway 19 from Foxtrot, Vegas. Okay, let's start strobing. Landing lights, runway turn-off lights on, taxi lights are already on. VATSIM is clear of controllers. At 4 runway heading set. Engines 40% N1. Forward pressure on the yoke. Stabilized toga. Do have winds coming off the left. So we want to put the ailerons into the wind, and as I apply right rudder opposite the wind. 80 knots. Pressure off the yoke. You can kind of feel the wind with your feet here.
B1, rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
LNAV. VNAV speed.
400.
Throttle hold. N1. Flaps up. So we're just trimming out the airplane to get us wait for the steady climb performance. This is such a short flight, we could almost hand fly this all the way there. Take the autopilot now. Command Alpha. No winglets on this bird. Okay, we can tidy up a few things. Runway turnoff lights can go off, taxi light off. We can take the retractable landing lights and turn those off and retract them, leaving the fixed active. We're gonna turn off the fixed landing lights at around 1-2000, which is about 10,000 feet above the terrain we're at right now. Turn off the fixed landing lights now.
1,000 to go.
And So it's gone into VNav alt mode, right? So we'll actually just wait for the level off here before we continue the climb. Because once it goes into VNav alt mode here on the flight mode enunciator, you're committed to leveling off. Even if what you could do is you could increase the altitude on the mode control panel to continue the climb. But you would have to go to a flight level change mode. You would have to disengage with VNav because VNav is locked in. Once that goes to VNav alt, it is saying that I don't care what you tell the throttle to do, or what you tell the mode control panel to do regarding new altitude target. I'm going to 14, and that's it. So we can now go up to our cruising altitude of 240. We're gonna flight level change out of here. So select flight level change. The indicated airspeed populates with the current airspeed as the target. Now it's going to apply full N1 power for the climb. We're on a climb 2, N1 power is 94.7. So the plane is just gonna go, okay, I'm doing climb power. And you need to control the pitch to maintain 258. So as you can see, our rate of climb has now exceeded 5,000 feet per minute. So the plane will just go maximum climb thrust, and it will pitch the aircraft to maintain the selected airspeed. So it's often called pitch controlled speed setting. And if we now increase the indicated target airspeed to 270, it will point the nose down because it needs to gain that airspeed to the new target airspeed while maintaining full climb thrust. See the salt flats out there in the desert now. So the flight mode enunciator, which is at the very top of the primary flight display, extremely important to understand what each of those settings actually means, because it tells you everything about the logic of the autopilot. So we are now in alt hold at 240. And because we climbed here from a flight level change, we did not use VNav, but we know that our cruising altitude is 240. So what you'll notice here, alt hold on the mode control panel. If we go to VNav, it now becomes VNav path. It already knows I'm on the path, and it goes to FMC speed. We are now in full vertical navigation tied to the FMS. Okay, we're pretty much coming upon our top of descent in a little over 20 miles already. So we'll essentially set our minimums. Once we get the Draco at 7,600, that's our final approach fix. So if nobody knows this, on the descent profile portion of the approach plate, you'll see this, they call it a Maltese cross here below. This tells you that that Maltese cross indicates is the final approach fix of the of that approach. Your aircraft needs to be fully configured for landing at this point. So considering that from JIREM we have 6.7 miles to get to the final approach fix, you don't have a lot of time to get that aircraft into final landing configuration if it isn't near that already at the JIREM. According to our FMS and consistent with the approach charts, JIREM is 8,700 or above, so we're actually going to set that right now so that VNAV path can capture it. Was it 8,007? Yeah. We have an enormous runway, 12,000 feet. We're only going to do flaps 30. We are hot and high. This is probably going to say no data when I type this in here. Yeah, no such weather profile. Okay. It's a kind of a top secret thing going on, I guess. But we will get the weather from... Let's see if we can get the weather from the interweb. Top of descent is 4.2 miles out. Altimeter 3007. So flaps 30, final approach speed will be 115 to hit the VREF speed at 110. So the density altitude in Tonopah right now is 8,000 feet MSL. That is about 2,500 feet higher than its actual altitude. Missed approach procedure is climb to 11,000 direct to Rosen and do enter a right-hand hold and continue climbing in the hold if needed to 1,000. Because we have a load of runway ahead of us, 12,000 foot runway, and because we're very light and basically have the same brakes as the Dash 8 and the Dash 900, we could potentially actually not do any engine thrust reversers and just do a auto brake 1 setting. We'll now go set our altimeter to 3007 as we pass the transition altitude. So because we have so much runway ahead of us and winds are quite light and our approach is going to be only 115 knots, I'm probably going to add another 5 knots onto that because of the density altitude to make the plane a little bit more agile and responsive to flight control surface inputs. Look at the size of the tail vertical stabilizer relative to the airplane. It's so huge. Welcome to the Dash 600, folks. Same engines as the Dash 8. We had exceeded 5,000 feet per minute on the climb out. Nothing going on VATSIM right now. So the Dash 700 test flight yesterday, we needed a lot more force on the yoke to control our attitude on the takeoff and the landing. And I would expect nothing less in the Dash 600. As a matter of fact, I'm going to expect more of it. Okay, we're getting about 15 miles from our final approach fix, so we're going to start implementing flaps now by going to flaps 1 first. Because we're so high, we actually could have gone and put the landing lights on earlier. So we have the fixed landing lights on now. On FMC speed, again I'm going to target 120 for the approach. Field is in sight directly ahead.
To go.
So we are good on that. We will set the next target altitude to Draco, which is 7,600. We're still in VNAV path, so we're good. And FMC speed is in control as well of the throttles. So we're coming up on 5 miles from the final approach fix. We're going to start deploying the rest of our flaps now. The FMC speed will begin to lower based off of the flaps, new flap settings that are being engaged. .8 miles from final approach fix. Flaps 10. Flaps 15. Flaps 25. flaps 30. Gear down. So target speed of 120 knots is set. We're going to be good at Draco with the altitude. And we should be good enough to go ahead. What's up, Vintage? Perfect timing. RNAV approach. We'll set our minimums are 59080, so we'll set the altitude to 6,000. Descent angle is actually only 2.83 degrees. It's quite shallow. Less than 3, obviously. So we are only 500 above, approaching 500 above minimums. Jesse, it looks high. The poppies are all white. X-plane must have a different...
Stabilized approach altitude set.
X-plane thinks the altimeter is 3039er. So we have to get out of that mode because we're at the minimums.
Plus 100. Minimums.
Must have been something up with the altimeter setting with with X-plane. It thinks it's 3039er.
400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Now we're not going to apply the thrusters. We'll see how the auto brake one works out.
Knots.
I'm gonna do manual brake. X-Plane thinks the altimeter here is 3039er, whereas in reality it's 3007. Yeah, so that was weird. So this airport elevation is 5,550 feet. So that would mean $3046. So that makes sense. So X-Plane's built-in quote-unquote real-time weather had the altimeter all wrong, which is why we came in much higher than we should have been. But it's okay, we had an enormous amount of runway available. I need to find out if there's a way if I can inject VATSIM weather. Even if it were just the winds and the altimeters. And winds, altimeter, and temperature. Even if I could just get that injected into X-Plane rather than... I think X-Plane's real world weather is... it's far from perfect. Well, yeah, this, back to the purpose of this whole flight, this, which was to test out the handling of the 600. Really good. I can't say anything bad about it. It's just like its siblings, the 7, 8, and 9. It's extremely agile. Noticeably slightly more agile than the 700. Oh, that's not a good one. You're gonna go change all your passwords, bro. So here's Delta Wrap. The police are waiting for me again here. Where are the black... Where are the black SUVs? So that was basically a LNAV with VNAV approach. Important to remember once you get to minimums, or maybe just 100 above them, to once you have runway, once you're in VMC conditions at plus 100, you can disengage the autopilot. You have to manually fly it all the way in. Of course, there's no auto land possible on a LNAV VNAV. It's crazy. It's like there's so many cop cars. Wherever I land, it's just loads of cop cars. We will be doing a return flight in a couple of hours' time. But I've kind of woken up, not had breakfast, and got this flight together. But I will not keep the stream running. Maybe I'll put the return flight on the schedule, on the channel schedule, and I'm gonna explore the interwebs to see if there's a way I can inject VATSIM. Even if it's just altimeters. VATSIM altimeter into the sim. But we're gonna chill out right here. Park brake set. Set the chocks, GPU connect. We'll take that, engines out. Yeah, it's Thursday vintage. Not too special, a little bit disappointing about the altimeter. Rather bananas. Let's see. Look how cute that plane is. That vertical stabilizer is insane relative to the fuselage. I mean, it's just crazy. Look at the engines, too. They're the same engines. 24,000 pounds. I think they can go up to 26. This thing shot off like a rocket. Let's see if the replay was anything worth writing home about. Probably not, because that was a go-around in every sense of the term. We had an enormous amount of runway ahead of us, so I said, to hell with it. I'm just gonna not do a go-around. I'll be doing go-arounds in other streams. It's all vertical stabilizer. It looks insane. Anyway, I'll throw the return flight stream on the schedule, folks. Thanks for joining. Hope some of that was informative and potentially entertaining. Thanks for joining the stream. We'll see you in the skies.